Dating is not one size fits all. Have you ever wondered why some dating advice works for your friends and it doesn't work for you? You have discovered what is absolutely true, which is that not everybody is facing the same challenges. Not everybody has the same gifts. You are a unique person. You are at a unique place in your dating journey. So today I'm going to introduce you to my 5 dating archetypes, which I have developed to give you a clear way of understanding where you are on that dating journey and how to move forward. So this is going to be part 1. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the 5 types, and then make sure that you're subscribed, because in the next video, I'm going to give you some more advice specifically about what to do if you're feeling frustrated where you are right now and you want to move forward. Okay. So number 1, are you somebody who avoids dating? You avoid talking about dating. Maybe every now and again you get motivated to try out an app and you download it. Maybe it's on your phone for a couple of days and then you just delete it. You don't go on dates. Or people ask you about your dating life. You're like, oh, you don't want to talk about it. If this sounds familiar, then you might be in an avoider phase. So, just like the title suggests, avoiders avoid dating. And it doesn't mean that you don't want love, it doesn't mean that you don't want connection, but you're not actually comfortable putting yourself out there for whatever reasons. And this is a very common phase. As a recovered avoider myself, I can tell you that this is not your destiny, but it is something to acknowledge. And if you're ready to move forward, you get to do that. So again, make sure you're watching next week's video. Next up is somebody who feels like you're just stuck in a dating pattern that does not serve you. It feels like your dating life is like Groundhog Day. Like you go on dates, you put yourself out there, you try, but it just doesn't go anywhere. You're not getting past those first couple of dates. And if you do, it just seems like things are always ending in the same way. Maybe you're always feeling blindsided, or maybe you always find out that someone has been lying to you, or maybe you get ghosted constantly, which isn't your fault. But if it is something that is repeatedly happening, then that says that there's something more going on. So that might be you. So if that sounds familiar, then you might right now be in a looper phase. And the next is an archetype that I've actually just added. Originally, I had 4, but this one I realize really needs its own category because it is so very common. And this is when you have a pattern of dating and relationships where you are somebody who is always the one who gives. You are the one who gives time, you give effort, you give grace, you might give money. You make yourself very accessible to someone else, and that person really doesn't reciprocate. So if you find that you're the one who's always showing up, if you find that you're the one who's always settling for, maybe you want commitment and they don't, and so you settle for being casual. Maybe your relationship stays really hidden and people don't know about it, and this person's very important to you, but they're not willing to publicly claim you, but you still hang in there. In this dynamic, there can be a lot of breaking up and coming back together. And if this sounds familiar, then you might be a loyalist. And so you have this beautiful sense of generosity and loyalty that leads you to being so giving. However, you are choosing to be loyal and giving to someone and to not prioritize people who are actually able to give you the love that you really deserve and can receive. So, again, make sure that you're watching next week because we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Next up is someone who feels like chemistry is everything. And you're somebody who's had very passionate relationships and connections. And it's because you meet and it's like instant. And then the two of you are drawn together and you go on this wild ride and this wave of intense chemistry. And everything is really amazing. And you're so enamored with each other until you're not. And things tend to end very abruptly. There tends to be this high and then followed by a low. And if that sounds familiar to you, then you may be a surfer. Surfers really ride that wave of chemistry without necessarily understanding that, wait, maybe this isn't going to last forever. Maybe this isn't the most important thing to prioritize. Maybe I'm overlooking some things that are actually going to be really important for me to pay attention to in this connection, but that chemistry is so intense that you just kind of put it all to the side. And as a very romantic person, I've been here, I've done that, so I get it. And then next up, last but not least, if you were somebody who you have relationships You have long-term relationships, even you're somebody who might have been called a serial monogamist at times in your life. You might be somebody who's really never been single. You're somebody who doesn't date so much as you relationship. So you tend to go pretty quickly into relationships. When you meet somebody, you mutually like each other, and then you're just before you know it, you're in a partnership again, right? And so if this sounds like you, then you are a sailor. And being a sailor is something that is fantastic when you are aligned with the right people, but if you are kind of defaulting to the next person who shows up, the next person who wants to be with you, but when you stop and you think about it, you're like, is this really what I want? So, avoider, looper, loyalist, surfer, sailor, wherever you are on that spectrum, if any of this is resonating with you, then please make sure that you are subscribed, because next week's video, I'm going to get into a little bit of advice for each of these archetypes. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Okay. So stay tuned for your heart work, which is just a reflection question for you to go a little bit deeper into today's video. And it's coming up right now. Thanks for watching.